Investigators began searching the Colton Reserve last Saturday, but now a week later, they say their search for the 23-year-old Brian Laundrie continues. Joining us now with the latest information is Fox's Charles Watson. Charles, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rain. We heard from the Northport Police Department late Friday evening telling us that they did expect law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, to return to the Carlton Reserve today to continue their search for 23-year-old Brian Laundrie. I can tell you we've been out here for a couple of hours so far, and we haven't seen a lot of the vehicles that we've seen over the last few days rolling into the reserve. So it's not clear right now whether they're starting a little later in the day or they're beginning to search a new area, but we're going to keep our eyes looking out for that. That said, when they do continue this search, we expect everything from drones, ATVs, high water vehicles, and K9 units to be in play. But Rain, it could be a bit challenging to track down the 23-year-old. Brian's lawyer confirms to the New York Post that Brian left home without his phone and his wallet before he disappeared in the 25,000-acre nature reserve on September 14th. Despite that, police say their motivation is as strong as ever. They're using everything at their disposal right now to try to track the 23-year-old down. Now, Brian is now considered a fugitive. The arrest warrant that the FBI released just the other day after a grand jury indictment alleges that Brian fraudulently made more than $1,000 worth of charges on someone else's debit card. The FBI has yet to specify whose debit card that belonged to. We reached out to them and asked them if they could clarify, and the agency told us that they had no further comment past the public comments they've already made. So a lot of questions right now, but we do know that authorities expect to be back out here today searching for Brian Laundrie. Right? No real updates from the Laundrie family. A couple of days ago, we did see them leave their home for really the first time since the FBI raided the Laundrie family home earlier in the week. The Laundrie family attorney tells us that the parents came up to Orlando to meet with him, and then they quickly returned back home. We also saw them earlier that day go to the Northport Police Department and retrieve the silver Mustang that we saw the FBI tow from the family home earlier this week during that raid. But so far, we have not heard anything publicly from the Laundrie family. There've been a lot of reporters outside of the house shouting questions to them, but they've been silent, right? That's an interesting question. We've been wondering that as well. We spoke to a survivalist earlier this week who told us that it is possible for someone to survive in there as long as they know the proper wild edibles, the food that they can eat out there without killing themselves. That said, there's not a lot of potable water back there, not a lot of water that they can drink. And then you also have to deal with the alligators and the poisonous snakes that are also in this nature reserve. So if you're going to try to survive back there in the Carlton Reserve, you certainly have to be someone who is skilled and probably familiar with that area. We heard from a friend of Gabby Petito who spoke to the Daily Mail, and she said that Brian is an experienced outdoorsman. She said he's spent months hiking and camping out in the Appalachian Mountains. So this shouldn't be something that's really difficult for him right now. But again, this is a different area, tough terrain, a tough experience for anyone back there to be able to survive. It's likely, but we just don't know right now. And of course, the FBI and multiple law enforcement agencies have been back there searching for him for nearly about a week at this point. They haven't found any traces of him. So, that's a question that'll continue to linger until we get some answers from law enforcement, right?
All right, Fox's Charles Watson, thank you so much for joining us this morning with the updates.
You bet.
All right, guys, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper when it comes into the possibility of Brian surviving in the Colton Reserve. Our very own Christy Lawson actually caught up with a survivor list. Let's listen into that segment.
So once again, this is at the Colton Reserve. It's a 25,000-acre area, and he has not been heard or seen from in over a week. Brian's parents saying he went to this area to do some hiking, camping, and of course, this has been where the sole focus for Brian Laundrie has been taking place. And we've mentioned just some of those conditions that the